prototyping is hugely important for any of your journeys, whether you're a startup, a large organization, has any sort of idea. Prototyping is a really valuable tool. And what we're trying to do here, and this is really important, that you're using a prototype to test, to really test your ideas and understand, are you going on the right path? And has your customers bought in to this potential concept? So we're not using it to sell to customers. We're not trying to go to it with a prototype to potential customers and shove it down their throat and say, will you buy this? It's more placing a prototype in front of them and watching them interact with this idea of yours, this early stage concept. And you're constantly looking for actually criticism to understand what isn't working well for them. And is this something that can delight them? So remember those things when you go off on this journey. And the founders of IDEO talk about, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a prototype is worth 1,000 meetings. So it just talks about the power of creating prototypes. And actually in IDEO, you can't go to a meeting with a new idea if you don't have a prototype there to show. And there could be lots and lots of different ways you could be showing that prototype. It's not like you have to have this really amazing, cool mocked up app, which Lily will show you how to do shortly. It could be as simple as a paper prototype. Maybe it's even a napkin sketch. So these are the types of ways you can prototype. Firstly, quite low fidelity, we call this, is where it might be an idea that's scribed up on a piece of paper. Maybe you have a few slides on it. Maybe it's more kind of marketing material. But again, this is first steps to get people to understand what it is that you're trying to create or trying to propose to somebody. Another way you can prototype is you can create a service. So let's say you're prototyping a service and you want to understand, will customers buy into this? Then what you could do is, firstly, you could actually pay actors to act out something. But a lot of the time what you might do is you might do a simple role play. And you might even write up a little script, because then it's showing that you're kind of empathizing and being part of that service, and you're trying to understand, are customers buying into this? Another way is you could actually even go all out and modify an existing space. This is an example of a prototype of a children's doctor's office, where they wanted to understand, what do we need to do to make this doctor's office more child friendly? And then they went in, they rented out a space, they designed it up, and some of the outcomes were actually even outside. Are the corridors big enough for buggies? Is there enough space in the waiting room for the kids and children to be playing with toys? Is there enough toys? All these kind of insights that you'll only know when your customers are there interacting with your idea. Another one is an object. Maybe you could 3D print a product that you might have an idea for, and put that in front of customers and see, are they engaging with it? What are their thoughts when they see this? You could also look at the marketing material for a new product that you are thinking about releasing, that this is a way to really get testing quickly. Now, these last few types of prototypes are the ones that Lily is actually going to do a demo of. And we use these a lot, whether it be in the startup world or within new product developments, anything at all. Great ways to test your ideas here. So an explainer video is one of them. And here what we're trying to do is we're trying to mock up a quick video that demonstrates what it is you're trying to do. And you can use tools like Animoto, Powtunes, VideoScribe, all these amazing tools that are out and online that are available for all of us to access. Dropbox in 2007 paid $50,000 to a design agency to create an explainer video for them. And that was in 2007. Today, we could actually all create that video that Dropbox paid $50,000 for. And Dropbox say that that video has accounted for over 50 million in annual recurring revenue for Dropbox. So that's the power of something as simple as an explainer video. Another way you can prototype is you could create a website, mock up a website, so your customers again can engage and give you feedback on, oh, okay, this is exactly what I'm looking for, or, oh, do you have this, this, or this, or anything along those lines. And again, there's no excuse actually to not have even a simple website, because nowadays the tools are there for us all to be able to create them, whether you have a design background or not. Another one is this mobile app. A lot of people are creating apps, and some of the tools that you can use to create apps are Marvel, InVision, Fluid UI is another one. And here, when you're creating an app, and Lily's going to show you, it's a bit more complex, but again, very doable for all of us, is you create images, and you can create images using tools like Canva, really great tool. And then you're creating an image, and then you're putting it into these app builders, well, the prototype app builders like Marvel. And then what you're trying to do is stitch together a story, so that when someone's interacting with your prototype, they may be clicking on a button and then it's moving to the next screen. And when you're looking for images to help you design your prototype, you can, of course, use lots of these free to access. There's no copyright infringement by using these tools such as Pexels, iStock, Pixabay. And the great thing actually is when you're prototyping, you could just use Google Images, like type into Google, look for any kind of image and edit from there, because you're not releasing this to the general public. This is for testing purposes only. So that's the key there as well to remember. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you on to Lily to do some of these prototype demos. And before I do, I just want to touch on MVPs. Because a lot of people talk about MVPs and prototypes, and some people say, oh, I'm building an MVP and that's my prototype and things like that. And really how I see an MVP is a minimum viable product. Those of you familiar with Lean Startup, but essentially I see it as the next step from a prototype. So we have built out this prototype that we've used for testing purposes, let's say. We've got feedback, we've iterated on it, and then we might be ready to turn that potential prototype into an MVP. What's an MVP? Really, an MVP is the minimum you can build to get real traction from your idea. So for an example, an explainer video that you create could be your prototype that you test with people, then you edit it, and then that actual explainer video could potentially be turned into an MVP if, let's say, you used a crowdfunding site like Kickstarter, and you had, let's say you had a product like a new phone or something that you were trying to build. You could create a video of what that phone would look like and what it could do, and you could upload it onto one of these crowdfunding sites, and then customers could pre-buy your product. So you haven't actually even built anything, but you've managed to get real validation because people are pre-buying your product. And that's really the differentiation between an MVP and a prototype in my eyes, where it's the next step. And then after you've gained some traction, that's constantly iterating as well, but then you'll be ready maybe for your final launch. And of course, there'll be updates along the way. But that's when you know that you should continue on this journey if you're getting real traction with your MVP. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to Lily, who is going to do a couple of these demos, and then at the end we're going to jump into Q&A. So do feel free to use the chat to write as many questions as possible. We'll stay on as long as it takes to answer every question, and always can feel free to reach out to us separately as well. So thanks so much, Lily. I'm going to pass it over to you now.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that amazing introduction, Rohan. So I'm going to walk you through how to create 3 different kinds of digital prototypes. So the first prototype we're going to do is a website, then we'll do an explainer video, and then we'll finish up with a mobile app prototype. And I'll share with you a bunch of different digital tools. Most of them are free to use, and I'll drop the links at the end as well. So I'll definitely share those resources with you. And so to get started, we're just going to go to Wix. So this is my platform of choice for building a website. And the reason why I like Wix is because it's just really user friendly. There's an AI builder in which you just answer a couple of questions and it'll actually build out a website template for you, which is really handy. And so to get started, you just go to wix.com. You can create your free account, and then this will be your dashboard. And to create a site, you just go to this top right-hand corner here and click on Create New Site. And from there, Wix will just prompt you what kind of website are you creating. So for the demo, I just might create a fitness coach website. And then here you'll have two options. So on the right is a more traditional website builder where you choose from a variety of templates and then edit from there. And on the left-hand side is the kind of AI builder where you answer a couple of questions and then it'll kind of pre-populate the site with relevant content based on what you've answered. So I highly recommend starting on the left because it's easier to work with something that's already kind of halfway there. So we'll just click on Start Now. And here you'll have a couple of features. Wix chooses features based on the kind of website that you put in. So because I put in fitness coach, it's offering me bookings, pricing plans, and things like that. There's also more features as you scroll down, which you can add those as well if you like. And now it'll ask for your business name. So I'll just type in healthy. And here you can also import some existing content if you have that. And then here it'll ask if you want to add a logo. So I would recommend adding a logo at this point because later on, Wix will actually take the colors from the logo and then apply them to the website, which is really handy because then that starts to sort of build the brand image of the website. And so to grab your logo, I recommend a couple of different options. You can always build your own logo from scratch using this platform called canva.com. Some of you may be familiar with this platform. I'll be diving deeper into this later on. But if you just want to grab a quick logo and quick icon, I'd recommend going to this platform called icons8.com. So icons8 is great because oftentimes if you are maybe creating a website or even a brochure or something like that, you might just go on Google, look for some icons to grab, and then when you put them together, you find that they actually don't quite look right. And the main reason for that is that they're often not done in the same art style. And when they're done in the same art style, it really creates this feeling of that everything belongs together. And it kind of helps to create that flow in your design. And so in Icons 8, if you actually search for an icon here, so if I type in headphones, you actually get headphones in a variety of different art styles. And as well, you can even choose icons based on a particular art style. So if I click on that, then it'll just give me icons in that art style. So it's really handy for when you need a bunch of different icons that all look like they belong together. And Icons 8 is free to use, but I think you do need to create an account to start downloading. Another platform that I recommend is the nounproject.com. So this is also another great resource for icons. They also do photos and things like that. I'd highly recommend them for icons. They have a very extensive library. So now we're just going to jump back into Wix. So I'm going to add a logo that I grabbed from Icons 8 earlier. So there's my logo, and I'm just going to click Next. Here you can pick a theme that you like, just whichever one that you prefer. And then here is where Wix is going to create that color palette from your logo. So as you can see, it's just directly picking those colors from the logo that I uploaded. So here are 3 templates that Wix has created, and you can just choose the one that you prefer. And then Wix will suggest some pages that you can add to your site, again, based on the type of website that you suggested in the beginning. So because I chose fitness coach, it's offering me classes, testimonials, and things like that. So you can add any additional pages, or you can also do that at a later stage. Okay, so now Wix has completely filled out our template with all the things that are relevant with fitness coaches. So you can see everything here is tailored to that, and you can customize any aspect of the website. So once you hover over an area and just click on it once, you'll then have this pop-up menu on the left-hand side where you can fine-tune every aspect of it. So from the title to the fonts, to the colors, to the photos, all that good stuff. And then once you've finished editing your website and you're ready to publish it and share it and get some feedback on it, all you have to do is click on this top right-hand corner up here. And then you'll also be given a free Wix domain. So you can just change the back end of this URL. So you can type in your company name or whatever you prefer. You can also add a custom domain. So if you already have a domain or you're thinking of purchasing a domain, you can do that. I believe you do need a premium version of Wix. So just the next tier up, I believe it's around €6 to €8 a month. So just something to note if you wanted to go down that route. But if you're just using this website for as a prototype, so i.e. just for testing purposes, you shouldn't need to use that custom domain because all you're looking for is just to get that feedback from your users. And so, yeah, that is how to do a website in a nutshell. Really, really simple and super user-friendly. So now we're going to jump on to the next prototype, which is a video explainer. So for this prototype, I like using this resource called animoto.com. The reason why I like Animoto is because there's just a lot of features that are pre-built into the software. So you don't have to go looking elsewhere for music or filters or things like that. So to get started, again, you just create your free account, you log in, and then here's your dashboard, and then you just click on Create in the top right-hand corner. So once you've done that, you'll be taken to a page with tons and tons of different kinds of templates here. So once you hover over them, you'll actually get a preview of the template itself. Then you can also sort it by the type of template on the left-hand side here. And then once you click into it, they'll just give you a few tips on what that template is used for. So now we need to upload our video. And a really fantastic resource for this is this website called pexels.com. So I highly, highly recommend using Pexels. If you haven't heard of it before, it's an incredible free resource with loads and loads of images and videos that are completely free to use. So if you wanted to take any of the content from Pexels later on into your MVP stage, you don't have to worry about copyright or anything like that. All the content on here is completely free to use. So to get started, all you have to do is type in the search bar. So I'll type in fitness. In the left-hand corner, you can toggle between photos and videos here. In the top right-hand corner, you can toggle between the orientation. So for example, if you wanted square video for Instagram or vertical for TikTok, you can also toggle between the size of the video as well. And when you hover over a clip, it'll automatically show you a preview of it as well. And if you want to download the clip, all you have to do is click into it and then click free download. You actually don't need to create an account or anything like that. And then another resource as well is this website called Unsplash. They don't do video content, but they are a fantastic resource for photographs, incredibly high quality photos that again are totally free to use, and you could take the content from here into your MVP stage as well. So we're just going to jump back into Animoto, and I'm going to upload some video content that I grabbed from Pexels earlier. So while that is uploading on the right-hand side, I'll just take you through a couple of the other features in Animoto. So if you go to this top bar up here and click on Design, you'll see a couple of different options. So here you have some themes. If you hover over them, it'll start previewing it. And as well, if you click on it, it'll just apply it to the entire template. If you scroll down, you can further edit the text, the font, the colors, and things like that. There are some paid features, which has these stars next to them, but there's enough free features that you would be able to create a great video regardless. So here you have some different animations as well, filters and transitions. And then once you click out of that and jump back into this top menu bar here, you can also add in music. So there's a ton of inbuilt music options from Animoto. You can select by mood or genre. Just click into it once, and then if you hover over it, it'll actually start previewing it. If you click this apply button, it'll actually drop it down below here. And if you just click and hold on these handles on either side, you'll actually trim the music itself. So if you just want to play a certain part of it, and you can just loop that part. So you can really fine tune the music aspect of your video. And another feature as well, you can add your own music. So if I just click back here, back into this music library tab, you can just click on your music, and you can actually upload your own audio track. So I've seen other people actually upload a audio recording of themselves. So if you're creating your explainer video and you wanted to do a narration over it, you could do that and just upload it from here and then apply it to your video there. So now that our content has uploaded, if we want to add it to the template, all we have to do is click, hold, and drag, and then drop it onto the canvas, and it will replace the video that's already there. If you want to create a new block down here, all you have to do is click, hold, and drag, and then drop it down here, or you can create a block by pressing this plus button here as well. You can also trim the clips themselves by clicking on the scissors icon here. And again, it's just a matter of click, holding, and dragging on these handles on either side. To edit the text, all you have to do is just click on it and then just start typing away. So you can delete this section as well. And then you can just click, hold, and drag it around however you like. And so once you're done editing your video, you can click on this export button in the top right-hand corner. And here you have a couple of options. So you can actually share a link directly. So you can copy this link and then share this with your users. and get feedback from it that way, or you can also download it directly to your computer. So I'll just jump back into here to show that. So there's also a download option here. So I'm just going to show a video that I made from Animoto. I spent about maybe 30 minutes to an hour on this video. It's just a quick demo. So that was just a quick example of what you can make with Animoto. I'm sure anyone here could make something even better than that with the tools there. But this is actually something that I use myself, and this could be geared for someone who maybe is more familiar with other video editing software, such as Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut, and software like that. So Envato Elements is a really great paid resource, which has a lot of templates, music, graphic templates, photos, video, lots and lots of things. If you do use a software such as After Effects or Premiere Pro, you can actually go straight into video templates here and choose the specific software that you use. And from there, you can actually look for a specific type of template and edit that from there. So for example, if I type in mobile app promo, you actually get some promo templates of that, which you can then download and then edit within the software that you're familiar with. So this is more for advanced users, but I thought I'd share this with you just in case anyone was interested in this. And again, it is a paid resource, so it's about €15 a month, and it does have millions and millions of a variety of assets. So I would recommend that if that's something that you're looking for. So now we're moving on to the final demo, which is a mobile app prototype. So for this prototype, I would recommend using marvelapp.com. And again, you can create a free account here. And as you can see, I have this orange bar at the top. So on a free account, you can actually only have one project going at a time. So if you already have one going, you can either create another free account, or you can actually just go ahead and delete that project if you don't need it anymore, and then you can go ahead and create another project. So that's just something to keep in mind with Marvel app. So to get started, we're going to click on Create Project and then click on Create Prototype. And from here, we can just name our project. And here you can choose your project type. So what this means is this is essentially the frame in which your screens are going to sit on. And I'll show you what this looks like later on. So just depending on the kind of device that you want to create it for. So there's a couple different options. There's iPhones, iPad, Android, and things like that. So for this demo, we're just going to go with the iPhone 12. And you'll just want to make note of the pixel dimensions of the screen back here. So 1125 by 2436. This is really important to note because we want to create screens that will perfectly fit in those dimensions so that when we import them into the project, it will fit perfectly on the screen. And so to get started on making our screens, we're actually going to go into Canva. So Canva is an incredible resource. maybe some of you are familiar with this already. If you're not, I highly recommend getting started. Canva is a free digital photo, video editing tool. They kind of do a bit of everything nowadays. It started off as kind of like a graphic design for dummies, but it's really branched out into just about anything, PowerPoints, social media ads, and things like that. And as I mentioned earlier, you can also create logos here as well. So you can create that from scratch or using some of the templates that are on Canva. So now we're going to get started on our screens for our Marvel app. So we're just going to go to this top right-hand corner here and click on Create a Design. So there's some suggested pre-made templates already, but actually we're going to go down here and click on Custom Size. And we're just going to go back to Marvel app, and we're going to type in the screen dimensions here. So 1125 by 2436. And so here is our screen. So this screen is, as you can see, the perfect size of an iPhone 12 screen. And now to get started on building out our first screen, I'm actually going to go over to Google Images and just type in something like mobile login UI. And the reason that I start with this is because since this is a prototype, you don't need to worry about copyright infringement or anything like that, as Rohan had mentioned, as this is just purely for testing purposes. So you just want to get that user feedback and then move on and iterate from there. And so we're going to look for things that already exist so that we can just edit them and be able to move on more quickly through our screen building. So here you can see there's a bunch of different options. You can just click on any that you like and then download them to your desktop. And then we'll go back into Canva, and then you can actually upload them by going to this left-hand menu bar here, clicking on Uploads, click on Upload Media, and then drop it in from there. You can also just click, hold, and drag to drop it into the Canva browser window, and then it'll upload through there as well. So I have a couple of items that I've downloaded from Google Images. So just click once to drop the image onto the canvas. And now I'm just going to scale and trim this image until it perfectly fits on the screen. So I'm click, hold, and dragging on the circles in the corner to scale. And then I'm click, hold, and dragging on the handles on the sides to trim. Perfect. So there we have our screen, and I don't want to edit this layer anymore as I'm going to be adding some other elements onto it. I want to make sure that it stays put and I don't accidentally move it around. To do that, you can actually just click once on the item and it will highlight with this teal outline. And then you can actually lock it by clicking on this lock button in the top right-hand corner. So now I won't be able to move this piece, which is really handy for when you're building these screens. You might be adding a bunch of layers on top, or even when you're just making a graphic and you want to make sure that some layers are staying put. So now I might just add a text logo to my login screen. And I'm just going to go into the text menu here and then add a heading. So I'll just type in healthy. And then there's the traditional type editors up here, so you can change the fonts. Lots and lots and lots of free fonts in Canva. There are some pro features which have this crown next to it, but there's honestly so many free options that I've never needed to use any of the Pro options. And then here as well, you can also change the font size, also with the plus and minus, or simply by click, hold, and dragging on the circle to scale. So now I might just pre-fill this email address space because when users are demoing my mobile app, I want this part to just already be done for them. So we're just going to go back into this text box here and then click on add a subheading. So here I'm just going to type in my email address. And move it over there. But unfortunately, as you can still see the email address text below it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hide that. And to do that, I'm going to go into this Elements menu, go into Lines and Shapes, and just click on a square here. And I'm going to change the square color to white so that it matches my background. And just going to drag and resize this and just move that underneath. Perfect. So now you actually can't see the email address underneath it at all. So as you can see, building these screens is more of just editing what's already there, covering up what you don't need, and kind of adding the bits that you do need. And so I'm just going to copy that email address and the white box. So you can click, hold, and drag to select multiple elements in Canva. And then you can just use your standard keyboard shortcuts. So I'm on a Mac, so I just use Command V. I'm just going to drag that down. And then again, I'm going to pre-fill this password section, just filled with some asterisks. Okay, so our login screen is coming along. Next, I might just add a login with social media button, since that's really common in mobile apps nowadays. So again, I just went to Google Images and typed in login with Facebook button, downloaded one that I liked, and then I uploaded it to Canva. And so here, I'm just dropping it onto my canvas. Again, I'm just click, hold, and dragging in the corners to scale, and then on the handles to trim. Until it is how I like it. So there we go. So that is our first screen built. So essentially, you'll just repeat this process over and over until you've completed all of your screens. So this is definitely the most time-consuming aspect of the mobile app prototype. But again, this is still totally doable even within one day. And this is crucial for when you're prototyping because you don't want to fall in love with your prototype, as its main purpose is just to get that user feedback. So once you're done with all the screens, you're just going to go to the top right-hand corner and click on download, and then download as the suggested PNG, save that to computer, and then you'll go back into the Marvel app. So here we're going to click on create project, and then we're going to upload our designs up here. So you can upload them from your computer. And I'm just going to put in some screens that I made earlier. So here we have our 4 screens. And the next thing we're going to do is just hotspot these images. So what that means is we're going to create areas on the image where when users interact with it, it'll prompt the next screen to come up. So in reality, the mobile app prototype is more of a fancy slideshow rather than a functioning app. But when users are engaging with it, it really gives the sense that the app is actually reacting to how the user is using it. So to start hotspotting our images, just going to hover over the first screen and click on prototype. You can use the top right-hand corner plus and minus buttons to zoom out. And to create a hotspot, you just click, hold, and drag anywhere on the image. So the first point of contact that I want my users to interact with is actually the login button. So here I'm going to create a hotspot over that. So after users click on login, I want the dashboard of my app to show up. So here I'm going to click on the dashboard image. And then in this top menu here, you can click on screen transition and change how the next screen will come in. So this is just the animation of that. And then in action, you can actually choose the different ways that the user can prompt that next screen to come up. So I just generally go with click or tap, but there's a lot of other features as well. So now we're just going to do that until we've completed hotspotting for all of our images. So you can use the big left and right arrow keys to just toggle between your screens. And I'm just going to create another hotspot here. And again, you can just choose the screen transitions. And another hotspot here. And we're done. So now we can actually just click done. And to preview your prototype, you can actually click on this green play button. So as you can see here, my screens are in this frame of an iPhone 12. And that's just because I chose iPhone 12 as my project type in the beginning. So depending on what you chose, if you chose an iPad or an Android phone, that's what you would see. So here you can begin interacting with your prototype. So if you click on it once, the hotspot will then highlight, prompting your users to interact with that area. And then you can just click through the app. And so that is the mobile app prototype in a nutshell. Thank you so much for following with me on that. And I'll hand you back over to Rohan.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you, Lily. Amazing as always. I think everyone's recognizing the brilliance of prototyping and of your skill set in particular. So thank you for sharing, Lily. And I think, you know, when Lily walks us through those demos, it really shows how possible it is for us all to be able to do. It just, some will take a bit more time, to become an expert like Lily, but it's all very doable. Nowadays, we shouldn't be spending huge amount of resources asking others to be building all these things for you before you've really validated any of the pieces of the puzzle. So your ideas, now's the time to try and build up prototypes, put them in front of users, test it out, get some validation, and then continue on that journey. And myself and Lily, you can always shoot us an email if you have further questions. So Lily, again, thank you so much for that. And thanks everyone for attending. Hope you have enjoyed the rest of the day and weekend.